All right. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. All right, welcome to another episode in our series for seniors. My name is Olga St Pierre. I am a senior living specialist and a real estate agent by trade with Keller Williams. And most of my work has been in working with seniors and their families. This is something that I truly love doing because my relationships with my clients last years, and my job and my passion is truly to be able to help you make the best decisions for yourself as you enter or as you plan for your golden years. So just a little bit about us. We have been working with clients and helping them in United States and Canada for the last 15 years. We have a complete move solution that we do for our clients from start to finish. You don't have to worry about anything. We are here for you from start to finish. And we also have a concierge service. For a lot of you that know me, that means I am your virtual yellow pages. That means that anything and anyone you can think of that you may need, from contractors, just helping hands, just some maybe an ear to talk to. We are here to help you and make recommendations. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me. The concierge service is absolutely free of charge to you. We just want to be there for you to help you so that way it is less stressful for you. So what are we talking about today? It kind of like, what is the game plan today? A lot of my clients are always saying, Olga, I just want to stay in my own home. I have so many memories that have been created here. It's something comfortable. I know it. And that's what we're going to talk about, some of the pluses and minuses of staying in your own home. I am going to kind of start your juices flowing with some thoughtful questions that you need to ask yourself. How are we going to make plans? What financial considerations and other considerations that you should be kind of thinking about? And then what I would recommend that you would do next. So that's what we're talking about today. And of course, if there's any other questions that you have that I haven't touched upon, please let me know. And I'm more than happy to answer based on my years of experience. So even though staying at home is an amazing consideration, okay, AARP has done a survey where 77% of Americans age 50 and older stated that they want to remain at home throughout their golden years. And probably a lot of you think the same way, and maybe you're just not sure how to make that happen. What I can tell you based on my experience in working with our clients is that the plans to put in place to make that happen should start today, whether you are already retired, whether you're retiring in 5 to 10 years. The planning should be done quite some time ahead before it becomes apparent that maybe your home is not the right fit for you because you have stairs to climb, or maybe you're having a hard time stepping into your bath time. And unfortunately, what I am noticing is that a lot of the times people wait until they absolutely have to make those plans. And then at some point it becomes too late. And that's when, we're putting out fires, we're trying to do things really quickly, we're wasting money. And that is, I think, is also a big part of my senior series that I do, because I want you to be informed and I want you to be asking these questions and thinking about all of these things that we're going to talk about today, because it's extremely important. So let's talk about some of the things that are probably running through your head and some of the maybe questions and thoughts that you're asking yourself. And I want you to think about how this applies to you, because every single one of you has a unique situation. Every one of you is different, has different plans and aspirations, and where you are in your current life journey. So what I hear all the time is like, you know what? My current home will be the best possible place for me to live in my retirement years, in my golden time. And what I want you to think about is the fact that your ideal home is going to evolve through your life journey. If that home was great when you were just getting married and you were starting a family and you were starting your life together with your loved ones, that was the best position for and the ideal home at that time. And the best home for you right now, or where you're heading, should be the home that is going to provide you freedom, convenience, make sure that you have best care, and also less worry. Is the home going to be safe for you? Does it have a lot of steps? Are the bathrooms safe to use? Or, do you have to go into the basement for your laundry? So those are the things that I'm asking you to kind of jot down and think about. Next one could be, my current home is the best option to continue have the active social life that I do and to stay connected with my friends in the years ahead. And that's amazing, because staying active is one of the most important things that you can do in your golden years. Yet what I encourage you to do is to ask your friends on what their plans are, because it might be something that makes sense for you and the best decision for you. Yet for your friends, maybe they have financial considerations, maybe they have health considerations where it is best for them to make the move into a 55 plus community where they will have less worries and less care for the home. So having the conversations with your friends and saying, hey, we're spending a lot of time together, we're having a really great time together. Would you mind sharing with me, what are your plans for the next 5 to 10 or 15 years? Do you plan on staying in your home so that way we're still enjoying each other's company, or do you have plans to do something else? And it's a fair question to ask, because they are good friends with you. That way, based on what they're saying, then you can decide if this is still the best place for you, so that way you can then make your decisions as well. Could be my home that it's going to be less expensive and more financially secure for me to stay here. And most of the time, what people think about when they are thinking about it in this way is the fact that you don't have a mortgage on your home anymore. And that is great. However, there are additional things that I want you to think about, right? So you go through your life cycle and you get older, and your home goes through its cycle as well. So I want you to think about your home in terms of, what are some of the biggest components in your home that may need love and care? And we're talking about big ticket items: your roof, your siding, your windows. I'm actually very much involved in windows right now, because I'm getting all new windows in my own home. So I can tell you exactly how much it's going to cost to put in 16 new windows. What about your heating and air conditioning system? How is your basement? How is your foundation? The time does provide the toll and wear and tear on these items. And most of these big ticket items have a certain lifespan. Your roof might be good for 20 years or so, depending when it was put in the first place. Your heating and air conditioning system could be 10, 15 years. Your water heater can be 10 years. So I encourage you to grab a notebook and jot down a list of the biggest items that are in your home. And hopefully you still have records of when those items were installed, and then putting down and saying, okay, do I have any of these major expenses that are coming up? Because what I can tell you is that the cost of everything has gone up significantly in the last 2 to 3 years. We're talking about 20, 25%, if not more, cost of goods as well as the labor. So if you need a new roof, it could cost you $20,000, $25,000. A new heating and air conditioning system runs between $10,000 and $15,000. So do you have these expenses potentially coming up? Is this something that you might need to budget for? And then thinking about your own personal care costs, does it still make sense for you to be in your home? And I actually have some spreadsheets and suggestions on how you can put this on paper so that way you can make the comparison that I'll share with you in just a little bit. Another thought could be, well, you know what, it's easy for me to get care at home. I'm just going to have everyone come to my house. I can tell you that care at home is a lot more expensive than if you were to go into the doctor's office or into a facility. Coordinating all of this between the doctors and the nurses and the company that provides these services, it's all going to be on you. And is this something that you're willing to take on and you're capable of doing? Because there's no one to whom it's more important to get that care and to get those services than you. And that means that juggling a lot of different things, coordination, getting the bills paid, co-pays, things between private pay, between Medicare and Medicaid, it's a lot. It becomes quite a lot, and you really need to have a good system in place and also a good team of medical professionals in place to make sure that nothing slips through the cracks, because your healthcare is very important in your golden years. So we talked about some of the questions that I'm asking you to think about, and now let's actually touch upon some of the most important things in your home that may need care. They may need modifications, because the number one question I want you to ask yourself is that if you truly want to stay in your home, and that is absolutely a valid point, is your home safe right now the way it is? I strongly encourage you to do a home safety assessment to determine if there are any home modifications that are needed. I have a home safety assessment checklist that I'm more than happy to send to you. If you want, we can do it together. I am truly passionate about making sure that my senior clients are safe in their homes. I'm happy to do it with you over Zoom if you want me to, or set up an appointment to come visit you. Or if you want to have it to do it yourself, you're more than welcome to. Just let me know if you would like a copy of that. It's a really detailed checklist for every single room in your home on the inside as well. Don't forget, the exterior safety of your home is also important, okay? So what we are concerned about with during our home safety assessment are tripping hazards, lighting, safety, and security. Those are the most important kind of 4 categories that we touch upon. And that's what I want you to think about in your own home, okay? Important technology that we're talking about now are, for example, exterior and interior cameras for your safety, like Alexa and Google Home devices to help you maybe call someone or make a list, or something else, another type of security system if that is your preference. What we also are talking about are things that make it easier for you to live in your own home. For example, touch-on lamps or faucets. Having a safe seating work area in your kitchen where you can sit down and prepare your meals. Having pull-out handles for your cabinetry in the kitchen. Having variable height counters in your kitchen, things like that. No tripping hazards when you enter your home. Make sure that your steps are not too high or uneven, right? So as you can see, what we're talking about again is lighting, safety, security, and tripping hazards in your home. So I want you to think about that. So as we kind of start thinking about our own home, here are a couple of things that I want you to also consider, right? So we are looking at the big picture of, is your home safe overall for you? And the next thing that I'm asking you to think about is your furniture. All of us accumulate a lot of things throughout our life journey, especially if you have been in your home for 20, 30 or more years. I understand that. And furniture is a big part of what we bring. It gives us comfort. It provides us with safety and security. And at some point, it's going to become a challenge because you're going to have too much of it. So my suggestion to you is to create a safe room by room floor plan and a flow. And what that means is go into each room, let's say that it's your office, and truly look at your space and say, okay, if at some point, and you need to be honest with yourself, at some point I may need a walker or I may need a wheelchair. So in order for me to safely maneuver around my home, I may need to move some furniture around. This is the width of the space that I need to be able to just walk around and to have a wheelchair around. What furniture do I need to donate or to sell or to give to family to be able to have a nice and easy flow and the floor plan? And you might have to do that for every single room in your home, okay? Each room inventory, the things that you're going to keep, give to family, and sell and donate. And we have those documents that we can give to you as part of our senior resources. And we talk more in depth about how to declutter and right-size your things are part of our declutter workshop that we run every month. So please join us because we kind of dive in more in depth on doing this without getting overwhelmed. So when we are right-sizing our things, whether it's your furniture or other things in your home, you can use that room inventory list to help you take action. We're going to sort things into 4 categories. We're not going to make it any more complicated. We can use totes or bins or even trash bags if you don't have the totes. And if you need help, because I can tell you that for most of our seniors, it is a stressful process. It's also emotional process because you're going through the things that are going to bring up memories, whether they're positive or negative. And sometimes it helps to have someone there to help you, whether it's a family member or your children, or if you want someone who has no attachment or no emotional connection to you or your things, then bringing on like an organizer is also something helpful because they will help you and they will keep you on track. And they will also be able to tell you if some of the things that you have could be antiques, could they be sold through an auction, or because they have connections. So think about that as well. The next important thing when you are working through this process is that, number one, I guarantee you it's going to feel overwhelming and emotional at times. I do, because you've been in your home for so many years. You potentially raised your family here. You have all these memories, and you want to keep those memories and take them with you. So my suggestion to you is that what you are doing right now is creating the space that you need for this current time in your life journey. And you are taking a lot of things with you, yet at the same time, you are making room to be able to live and breathe with what your requirements are and your needs are right now, today in your life journey. So set mini goals and schedule appointments with yourselves to get the work done, just like you schedule appointments to go see your doctors or to see your family. Put it on your calendar. Give yourself 1 hour at a time and just say, okay, today at this time, I have 1 hour and I'm going to focus on just doing one closet, one cabinet, one drawer. And then you stay focused for that time and you sort everything in the 4 categories that I already mentioned to you, okay? I can tell you that in overall decluttering space and working with so many clients over a matter of time of like months and years, the biggest hurdle always is getting rid of furniture. Most of the time, those are the biggest pieces to either sell or to donate or have them, hold away. So my recommendation to you is start with those items. And please attend our declutter workshop where we dive in and actually talk about room by room on how you can make that happen. And I try to make it as stress-free and as anxiety-free as possible for you because yes, you are able to do it that way. And next, as you're going through this process, you need to create a home modification and improvement list for yourself. In each room, again, a lot of you know that I'm a big believer in having a notebook. So creating notebook and name your notebook, my golden years, how I'm going to thrive and love my golden years, because we always want to have a positive connotation attached to the project. And you need to break it down room by room. You're going to have to work room by room in your home. And then you need to decide, okay, this is the list of modifications that I need to make in my kitchen. You just write everything down, write down maybe questions that you have, concerns that you have, things that you need to get rid of, things that you need to buy. This way, when you get contractors that are going to come in, so like you can get estimates on the work that needs to be done, you have everything in front of you in your notebook, and then you can get all of your questions answered. My recommendation to you, get at least 3 to 4 estimates. This way you can see if the prices are pretty comparable along the border, or are they all over the place. That means potentially you need to talk to those contractors, or you need to get a few more estimates. Okay, determine the time frame for the work. What I can tell you is to expect for this project to take a lot longer than what you think it's going to be. Right now we are in the summer season. Most contractors are super busy in the spring and summer. So if you want to get this project done and you have the time, my recommendation to you is do it in the fall and the winter time. That's when the contractors are the least busy, which means that you should be able to do some negotiating for the projects that you need to get done. And then once you make a decision on who you're going to be partnering with to get the work done, you also need to talk about how you're going to pay for your projects, because you're probably going to be sticker shocked for some of the costs for the things that it's going to take. Which takes us into kind of talking about, okay, does this make sense at this point? Okay, so here are some of the suggestions from our home safety assessment checklist on the things that are important for you to consider. Okay. Bedroom, full bathroom, having a laundry on the first floor if you have a 2-story home. Okay. When my grandmother ended up living with my mom, we converted a living room into a bedroom for her. We closed off and put in a door and 2 doors on both sides. And when my mom had her home built, I suggested to her to, instead of having just a powder room on the first floor, to have a full bathroom. I said, because you never know, you might need it. And it's always better to plan ahead. So if you are in a 2-story home and you really want to stay at home, consider having these rooms as options for you to have if you're going to have a hard time climbing steps and you need to stay on your first floor. Another option, of course, if you want to still be in your own home and you maybe not want to go into a community, is for you to downsize from a 2-story colonial into a rancher style home, which is living all on 1 floor. That is a perfectly good solution and an option for you. Okay. In the bathrooms, we want to have step-in showers. We need to have benches. We need to have grab bars to make sure that you are safely taking your showers, because the number one issue most seniors will have, again, it's an AARP survey, is falling. If you fall and you can't get up and you can't make a phone call to get an ambulance, that is where we're starting to have issues. So again, think about safety for you, especially in your bathroom. Do you need to install ramps or one entryways with no steps into your home, right? So we're kind of heading outside to see if that is going to be important to you. You can actually rent a ramp if you need it temporarily. You can add a ramp. But again, if you need to have an estimate done, this is, again, another conversation and something else that you need to add for the contractor to review on your list of projects. And another example would be in kitchen cabinets, to replace and have drawers and have pull-out shelves if that's important to you. This way you don't have to reach far, and also have pulls instead and handles for you to be able to have easier ability to work with your hands. Flooring. Make sure that your flooring is smooth, which means that if you will need to have wheelchair maneuvering, you can do that. So what we're talking about here is everything but carpet, preferably. Hardwood, tile, laminate, and vinyl floors are a smooth surface and probably will be best for you. They're also easy to clean, right? So we're kind of thinking ahead. If the carpet is older and shaggy, you may want to replace it. If you really set on carpeting, then replace it with a new carpeting that is not shaggy, right? It really should be a shorter nap to prevent tripping, but make sure that it's absolutely nice and taut and as straight as possible. Microwaves can be placed in microwave stands as opposed to being, maybe high up above the counter, or in some kind of maybe stand, so that way it's easier for you to use. And if you're going to be maneuvering around in the wheelchair, especially, you want to have kind of like a lower level access to your appliances. And lever style doorknobs, as I already mentioned to you as well, can be helpful for people that have arthritis or some other conditions that limit range of motion. So who can help you? There are a couple of companies that actually help out with renovations. There are income limits for someone to qualify, but there are a couple of programs that we have seen that do this kind of work, and they're great to work with if you're interested in, that I have listed here. And let's talk about technology. I already mentioned to you a couple of things, and depending on your own comfort level and preference for technology, it can be a great option for you, right? So a lot of the times people like to have some of the Amazon's options. You can see it's either Echo Dot, or you can actually have an actual display, and you can use this technology for a couple of different things that I think are great. Calling your family members, you can order groceries, turn the lights on and off, set reminders, which is extremely important for medicine, for appointments. So think about technology as your friend. I know a lot of our seniors are not fans, and some of them are intimidated by technology, but I invite you just to take the time to read the instructions. And if you don't want to read instructions, there are a lot of YouTube videos on how to use this technology. I'm always asking my seniors to just be patient and learn, because it can be extremely helpful and a useful tool to have in your home. So, as earlier I mentioned to you, I think it's a great idea for you to think about comparing what it's going to cost you to live in your own home, what expenses, if they're major, that are coming up that you need to consider, versus if you were to go into a different type of community. Perhaps it's a 55+ community, perhaps it's some kind of independent living. This is designed to allow you and compare these things side by side. And that's what I'm inviting you to do. Okay, so number one, you need to review your current income and expenses. Just a basic spreadsheet could be great. If you still have a mortgage, what percentage of your monthly income is your mortgage? The goal is to kind of aim for 35% or less. Okay. Does your mortgage payment leave you enough money for all of your other expenses and needs? If no, there are some options that we always talk about with our clients. So if there is no option, then another option would be to find a less expensive home. And that is possible, where we talk about strategies and options. And perhaps that could be a good option if you have a 2-story colonial and you want to go into something that is 1-story living, yet you still want to be in your own home. Okay. And also, if you were to do that, you can use the proceeds from the sale of your home to potentially do the modifications and the upgrades that you might need to make sure that your new home is safe for you. So that's a good option to kind of get you you're thinking about it. It could be that you have to pay off your mortgage and then lower your monthly expenses. There's options for that. Or you can remain in your current home and reduce your other expenses. Is there anything else that you can cut off that could be maybe frivolous, or something else that you could say, you know what, I can live without it? Okay. So again, this spreadsheet and this budget sheet is part of our senior resources that we can also get out to you in the mail or email. So for some financial considerations, so we talked about what are some of the things that you may need to do, and now let's talk about how you're going to pay for it. Okay, so a couple of things for you to consider is, yes, number one, the funds are going to be coming from your personal savings and your investments. It is definitely a good idea to talk and discuss advantages and disadvantages depending on your age with your financial advisor, right? So depending on how old you are, you may be able to take money out of your investments tax-free, or if you are under 59 and a half, you may have to pay taxes. So definitely talk to your accountant, talk to your financial advisor about what you are thinking about doing, so that way they can advise you on how to do it best, so that way you can minimize your potential tax bills. A reverse mortgage, home equity conversion mortgage on your home is another option. I know there's a lot of misconceptions that are going around reverse mortgages out there. I do unfortunately know clients that have been taken advantage of, but I can tell you that it is definitely a great program that has received good upgrades and updates in the last few years, and you want to talk to someone who definitely is knowledgeable, and that is what they do. I have a recommendation here for you. Ken can be reached. He is local and is licensed in quite a few states. So you're more than welcome to reach out to him to discuss and see if this is a good option for you. The benefit of using a reverse mortgage is because you use the equity in your own home, you get to stay in your own home, but the money that you will get, you can use for just about anything. You can use it for in-home care. You can actually use it for the home modifications improvements that we are talking about. You can use it to purchase long-term care. And it's just a great tool if it makes sense. And what I can tell you about Ken is that if it does not make sense, he's going to tell you that. And then hopefully he is also going to be able to give you some other suggestions and point you in the right direction. In terms of medical considerations, we have Medicare and Medicaid. I think it's also critical to know and understand which services, which program pays for. Okay, Medicare will only cover short-term stay in facilities and nursing services, physical and other therapies. So definitely get an understanding, and also depending on what other supplement coverages that you have in addition to your main Medicare coverage, what do those cover? And have those handy, sort of like a spreadsheet, so that way you know and you can refer to those in need when you need to make your decisions. And Medicaid is available for lower income individuals that have low personal savings, and to qualify for Medicaid, because it's another government agency and a program, the process is quite lengthy. Other considerations: if you have other health insurance, if you have long-term care insurance, please understand what's covered and for how long. I know that many long-term care plans only are in place for a few years. So please understand what is that pool of money that you're working with and what you can use it for. Long-term care insurance is usually for care that's not covered by health insurance, Medicare, and Medicaid. Also, don't forget about VA benefits. I'm truly passionate because my husband is a veteran. There are benefits that are available, not just for qualifying veterans, but also for their spouses. There's monetary assistance, there's supportive services. So if you or your loved ones are veterans or spouses, and you have questions and you're not sure where to start, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction to make sure that you take advantage of those services. Many people don't, because they just don't know that it's available to them. And again, I want to reiterate to you that, as you can see, there's a lot of things to consider. I don't want you to become overwhelmed. I just want you to become informed on some of the things that you need to know about. And this is why I always strongly suggest that this planning, because it takes time, there's no better time to start than today. Your health and wellness. I do want to touch upon that because I think it's just as important, besides the space that you're going to live in that is going to make you happy. Use a questionnaire to go through to be prepared to be very honest with yourself. It's called a health questionnaire. And what it does, it guides you through with certain questions that are going to be helpful for you for your medical team of professionals that you work with, as well as your loved ones, whether it's your family or your friends. And what you need to answer is, okay, how is my overall health right now? Where do I think my health is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? You yourself know better than anyone else about your health. Okay, what are your concerns? Do you have any illnesses that are going to get progressively worse? How is your pain level now versus where it's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Are you going to have mobility issues and concerns? Because as your health deteriorates, the cost of care is going to go up. And that's where we talk about the financial aspect of it, okay? Are you going to have challenges with performing daily activities and you're going to need assistance at some point? Okay, what about your means to travel for appointments, for your social gatherings, and spending time with friends? Okay, who is your medical team for your healthcare plan? Make that list. Make sure that you have everything in one place. Your doctors, your nurses, what is your personal care looks like? What is your nursing care looking now? Or if you're not using anything, what could be potentially be the need for it and when? Community and social interaction, as I already mentioned to you, being able to have the social interaction as well as staying physically active is critically important for you in your golden years. So think about, do you have the access to these events now? Are you part of a senior center? Are you part of some kind of local community? There are adult daycares that you may be interested in attending. But again, do you need transport now, or are you going to need it down the road? We already mentioned to you, are you comfortable with technology? Take your time, get comfortable, because technology is not going away. It is only going to get more complicated and smarter as the time goes by. So take your time, learn, and get comfortable with at least smartphones, tablets, and video cameras to stay in touch with your friends and your loved ones. A lot of us want to make a difference, to leave an impact. So I encourage you to do the same thing and think about what are those things that you're passionate about? What is that fire in your belly? Do you have hobbies? Do you want to volunteer? Do you have something that you passionate about? Do you want to start a new business? You know, there are quite a few businesses like KFC. I believe Colonel Sanders didn't get his business started until he was like in his 60s, which means that he was already probably retired. And then one day he woke up and said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. So think about what's important to you, because when you have that personal fire in that belly and you really are involved into something that is important to you, that makes sense to you, it really does make a difference in your emotional and your physical health. So volunteer, use your personal professional connections, start a new group, do something fun, because just because you're in your 60s and not in your 20s doesn't mean you can't get something great started. And the next important item that is on our list for discussion today is sitting down with your loved ones and having an honest conversation. I can tell you that this is one of the most important things that you can do. As we already talked about, there's quite a few documents that I suggested that you use to help you with making your decisions. Communication with your loved ones is critically important. And this is where you are probably going to have to get very uncomfortable and vulnerable and have this conversation with those people that are important and matter to you. So share with them how you're feeling now. Where do you think you're going to be in the next so many years? What would you like for them to know? Do you need help? It is absolutely 100% okay to ask for help, whether it's going to be your friends or family, or you may need to hire someone to do that, okay? Where to find your important documents. This is extremely important. If something were to happen to you today, does your family, loved ones that you trust to handle your affairs know where all of your important documents are? Your directive, your will, your list of all of your accounts, your insurance, your funeral arrangements, your digital assets inventory, power of attorney. Does your family members know where to find all of these documents? If something were to happen to you today, who is going to be in charge of your estate, of helping get everything settled? I also encourage you to talk to that person to make sure they feel comfortable taking on this responsibility if something happens to you. Not everybody does, and you just want to ask them instead of just assuming I'm going to give this to my oldest son. I'm going to give this to my youngest son because he's the most responsible. So this is not just a thought for you to make that decision, but also ask them, do you feel comfortable doing this when I am no longer with you? Who is your team that is helping you right now to get all of your affairs in order? Who is your attorney, your financial advisor, your accountant? Have everyone contact information, and also let your team know who is going to be in charge and where to find your documentation, so that way they can provide the guidance to your estate executor when you're no longer here. And also, it's important for you to share what your wishes are. And these are some hard decisions to make now. Nobody wants to think about what's going to happen when you're no longer here. Yet it's going to make it so much more easier on your family for them to know that the decisions they're making on your behalf is exactly what you were looking for, right? So if you are not able to make a decision, you're on life support. Do you want to stay on life support? Do you want to be an organ donor? Those are some of the questions that you need to ask yourself now, and tell your family that, so that way they can make decisions according to what your wishes are. And along with all your paperwork, what is your financial plan? What is your health plan? Those are the things that you need to get started on and start to work on. As you can see, there's quite a few things here for you. But again, my goal here today for you is to understand that this planning takes time, and there's no better time to start doing this than today. And this is why I encourage you to have a notebook. Here's mine. I have a couple of them, depending on what I'm working on and whether it's my business or it's some of my personal things and hobbies that I'm working on. But I encourage you to get a notebook. Don't use a phone, and please don't use your brain to keep and store everything. The brain is not for storing. The brain is for ideas and solving. Okay, so definitely have a notebook and start to write down, how are you feeling? When do you want to get moving? What are your thoughts? What are your questions? That's what your notebook is. Have a meeting with your loved ones as soon as possible, or when you have answers to a lot of those questions that I already posed to you. Okay. Next, schedule your free home safety assessment appointment with us. If you want to do it yourself, I'm more than happy to send you the checklist. But this is something that you should consider doing if you are truly set about staying in your own home. And we're definitely more than happy to send you any of the senior resource documents that I have mentioned to you in this workshop. I have everything linked in on my next page that I'll show you in just a second. And please attend other workshops that we're providing to you. Again, they're all free of charge. The declutter workshop, the other ones in our senior series, where we dive in deeper and talk more about the senior communities and kind of what to look for. And you can find our current workshop right here at Live with Olga link. It gets updated every week. And here's where you can get all of the guides and the checklist and other things that I'm already mentioned to you. So when you get this workbook, you're welcome to click on this link and then request all of the information that you think will be useful for you. My phone number, my email is listed here. I do answer my phone. So if you want to talk to me privately, pick my brain, or if you have questions or anything else that you want to ask me, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And the recording of this workshop is going to be posted at Home with Olga YouTube channel. You can listen to it anytime. And of course, the recordings of all of our other webinars are on this YouTube channel as well. So, and if you want to connect with me, I am on Facebook most of the time, and that's where you can find me. So that's what I have to share with you today. I hope that you found this information helpful and not overwhelming. My goal, again, is to provide you with a guide, and you can just take it one page at a time, one slide at a time, and work on this in your notebook, one page at a time. So let me just see if we have any questions. If some of you have popped in later, what I want to just mention to you is that if you would like for me to send you a copy of the workbook in the mail, I need your address. So please message to me privately here, or if you want to call me with that information later, I'm happy to do that. All right, let me see. Okay, Marie, I got your information. Thank you. Mary Lou, I got the safety checklist, and okay. Barb, I will send you the workbook with the slide with the Rebuilding Together website on it. So don't worry, I'll get that information. And Louis, let me put do this. Here's my email address and here's my phone number. Let's see. Here's my phone number and my email. Okay. Now let me just check in what questions we had with. So today is the 8th. Let me see. Okay, so Susan had a question about walk-in tubs or showers. So we talked a little bit about that, where if you have a regular tub, does it make sense potentially to remove it and put in the shower? That is one of the considerations for you to have if you're planning on staying in your own home and you need to make modifications to your primary bathroom. And if it's going to be safer for you that way. And also if your budget is going to allow, yes, I would make sure that you have a safe shower versus a tub that you would have to climb over the edge for. Are walk-in tub showers affordable and good to use? Well, affordable, it depends on what kind of change are you talking about. So are they good to use in terms of safety? Absolutely. If you have the ability to convert from a regular tub to a walk-in shower, it is absolutely the best for your safety. Okay. Any advice on staying in my home and dealing with keeping the upkeep involved? So I think we talked quite a bit about that, and kind of just thinking about and making a list of the things that you need to do in your own home every month, every quarter, every 6 months, just to do the upkeep, and then deciding if having those responsibilities is going to be okay with you, and will you have the time, the energy, the health, and then the funds to be able to do that. So that's where all of our checklist and the budgeting kind of comes into. Okay, let's see who else has questions. I think I answered everything else that was on the list. Anybody else has anything else? Thank you, Bob. I got your information as well. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, not Bob. Mrs. Brody. Okay. All right. Anybody else has any questions? Anything else that you can think of? I hope that you found this information helpful. I do know that's a lot. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I want you to just sit down and make a list and get started on one item at a time, one appointment at a time, one subject at a time is the best way to do it. Thank you, Ginger. Got it. Okay. All right. Anything else that you guys can think of before we wrap up?
I have a question.
Of course.
The subject of furniture got to me. We have too much furniture. Any recommendations on how to decide? And they're the furniture. My husband and I've been married 50 some years, and it's the same couch that we first kissed on. How do you get rid of that?
Oh, I hear you. And you know what? The quality of furniture, right? That was made 50 years ago. It's still that looks good.
Yeah.
Sure. I think what you need to decide is, do you plan on keeping it or not?
Oh, that's a good question.
Right? Because if you're not planning on keeping it, I can tell you that most of the time, even though it could be quality made furniture, the coloring or the fabric may not be what people are looking for now, but you can always take a picture. And I know like Habitat for Humanity or some thrift stores will take furniture donations. You could always take pictures and call them and ask them, where can I send pictures so you can tell me if this item you will take for donations? And they'll tell you. You can send pictures of the furniture that you have, and they will let you know whether they take them or not.
Okay. Thank you. So how do you deal with the sentimental stuff? So you take a picture and think about, am I going to want it in my future?
You have to realize that you can't take all of the sentimental stuff. One of the best ways that we discussed this in the decluttering workshop is you decide on the best pieces that you absolutely want to have with you based on the space that you will have. And the rest of the items, you ask your family, friends, or loved ones if anyone wants any of these pieces. And if they don't, the next best thing would be to take pictures of all of those and create a album of those pieces. This way they're still with you and you still have those photos. And then you either sell those items or you donate them. This way someone else can pick that up and it becomes a treasure for someone else, right? Remember, you're not throwing that stuff away. You're just giving someone else an opportunity to love it as well.
Okay, thank you. We both worked at Goodwill, so it should be make it easier.
So you know exactly how that process would work, for sure. So you can check with any of the thrift stores, Habitat, Goodwill, especially with furniture. I know the dining room tables are pretty good, but if you have like a dining room hutch, those are usually the hardest to move. Most of the time, if the hutch, like the bottom part can be used as a TV stand. So that could be something that they'll probably take, but it's the top part where it used to be storing for China. Nobody wants them anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I had clients that were almost in tears that they couldn't even donate it. They had to put it out to the curb for trash pickup because nobody would just even take it for free. And the other important note that I'm suggesting for you to consider is that every generation has their own items and furniture that they appreciated. So the baby boomer generation loved furniture and china and crystal and dining room hutches. If you ask, even, for example, my sister, who's 10 years younger than me, she's in a different generation. She likes and appreciates and prefers different things than even me. So when you look at different generations, when you're talking to your children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, a lot of them don't want the same stuff. And most younger generations, they just don't want stuff, period. So I don't want you to take it personally, and they're not rejecting your things. It's not necessarily they don't like your china. They just don't want those things as in general. Right? And that's just a fact of life, where different generation prefers, likes, and wants different things. Some of the younger generations don't want to become homeowners. They just prefer to rent because they like the flexibility of potentially moving to different cities to explore things. That's why they don't want a lot of stuff. So just something else to consider.
Olga, can you tell me, when is your decluttering talk?
Of course.
Is that scheduled?
Let me see. Okay. The next declutter workshop is September 19th at 11 o'clock.
Are they all at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday?
No, I do have them in the evenings as well. We are currently working on our fall calendar. So if you just save the bit.ly, the Live with Olga link that I'll send you in your email, and just check back periodically. We're working on September, October, and November calendar right now, but we typically have at least one declutter workshop every month.
And that'll appear on the library website under events.
Yes, and you'll see that on the library events as well, because they do promote our events. Here's the document if you want to click on that to be able to go into the calendar to see it.
If we can't come to one, can we get the handout?
Of course, all the time. Yep.
How do we do that?
If you register for the class, everybody that registers is automatically, after the class is done, is getting a copy of the workbook as well as the recording.
Oh,
Absolutely. And then if you go onto my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see previously recorded declutter workshops as well.
that's great.
Yeah, so you can always you're always able to find something, whether it's coming up or if you want to listen to it again and kind of get the a little bit more motivation going, you can always go back and listen to the previous workshops as well.
That's wonderful. I don't have to miss line dancing then.
No, you don't want to do that. I would never want you to miss dancing for a workshop. I agree with you.
I did, but now I know what to do next. Thank you.
Of course.
This is very helpful. My brother yesterday had the realization that he can't stay in the home with his wife with dementia anymore. And they got to that place, that breaking point, where she's wandering and all those dangerous kinds of things. Like, okay, we got to get moving.
Where's your brother?
In Media, Pennsylvania.
I have connections to a lot of the communities there if he needs help with kind of deciding where he may need to potentially place her.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Great, I'll let him know.
Of course.
They're going to try a 30-day trial and see.
I don't think it's a bad idea. This way he's going to be comfortable with the community and she has to be comfortable there as well. It's not a bad idea. I've had clients who did that. They did kind of like a trial run to see if the community was a good fit. Not every community is. I agree.
That's great. I'll pass that on to him. Thank you.
Of course.
Olga, to get back to publication on the library website, that's how I get to know about you and others, the tech help and so forth. I haven't seen the decluttering listed, and you say it goes by the month. Every month, do they get rid of each month after it's over? Or?
They probably do. They probably do it month by month. So right now we're in August. They're probably only advertising August classes. But if you click on the link, can you see the link in the chat?
Yes, yes, I just copied it. It's
right.
Lines.
Right. So if you use that link for all of my classes, you can go on that link at any time and it'll give you an update for as long as we have something. So right now we have the last class that we have right now is on September 28th, but I know that we're working on having a full lineup going into September, October, and November as well.
Uh-huh. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's been very helpful.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad. All right. Anybody else has anything else they want to add? Anything? If I don't have your email or mail or something else, I will reach out to you in the next couple of days because I want to make sure I get all the information to you that you requested. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Actually, let me do this. I'll do this right now. So here's the link if you want to copy and go there now. Here is the link to the Senior Resources Library right here in the chat. So if you click on it, it's going to take you to a document where it's going to give you a list of all the resources that I have available. So all you have to do is click on whatever the resource that you need, and then let me know if you want those documents to be emailed or mailed to you, and provide me with all the information. I think that's the easiest link that that we have, and then I will get that notification, and then I will get everything out to you. Let me know that you guys were able to click on it, right?
I'm not very tech savvy, so I'm
Okay.
having trouble following what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay, hold on a second.
I
Let's see.
clicked that, but it went back to the calendar instead of, oh, I see libraries down under it. Oh. I'm afraid I want to click things that I'll get lost and then I won't be able to find my way back.
Hold on, let me see. Ginger, do you feel comfortable? Let me do this. I'm going to send you a private message. If you can, let me see. Where are you? Okay, I'm sending you a message.
Where is it going to arrive?
In the chat. Do you see like a little number in the bottom? Where's this chat?
Let's see.
It will be in the same chat box as everything else where you got the links.
Okay, I see two Olga.
Yes, so now respond back and then I can help you privately.
Respond